What is up, friends? It is Mrs. Cassie Emma, and I am very excited to be here today talking about the magic of the BenQ. The BenQ is a fantastic tool to use in your classroom, especially as we're getting more and more and more in Confluence Academies. It adds a new presentation software to your classroom, and it allows both you and your students to manipulate the board itself, and it allows for a whole bunch of more exciting, innovative, engaging lesson plans. This video is going to focus on the functionality of the BenQ, how to use it, and then some of our very favorite things the tech team has found that we are obsessed with. So without further ado, let's start with the most important thing, the connections. So when you walk into a classroom with a BenQ, you will most likely see either behind or hanging on the BenQ these two wires. We have, as you can see, one wire which is an HDMI cord, and one wire which is a USB cord. In order to make this board work the way that it's supposed to with your computer, you will need to plug both of them in. The HDMI cord allows for your screen to show, and the USB cord allows for you to actually touch and manipulate the screen. If you find that you have both of them plugged in and they are not working, if you check the back of the BenQ where they are plugged in, you'll want to make sure that they are plugged into the same HDMI 1 and touch 1 or HDMI 2 touch 2. The cool thing is that most of the BenQs in Confluence Academies are now wireless, which means we can connect to them via the internet. This is so much easier. It's much faster, and it's much swifter. It also allows for a lot more freedom on your part. So in order to do this, we're going to start by selecting the purple wireless projection box on the front of the BenQ. When you open it, you're going to see this first screen. At the top, where it says APL 8B4, that is your connect code. You're going to want to keep this. It will change, but you're going to want to look out for this when you first try to attempt to get into your BenQ. The second thing you'll notice is the device name. This will become important when you open up the InstaShare software on your computer. So now that we have the InstaShare software open on the BenQ, we're going to go to our computer and we're going to find the InstaShare app. It is most likely on your desktop, but if it is not, you can always use this down here to search Insta. And it should come up after you type just Insta, because that should be the only thing that starts with Insta there. As you can see, there are no devices that are showing up on my InstaShare app at the moment, which is totally fine. That does not mean that I can't connect. It just means that I'm going to have to go through a different step. If devices are here, you can simply select the one that matches your room or your BenQ and then go from there. I cannot do that. So at the bottom, there's this box. I'm going to click in there and then type that first initial code that I pointed out earlier. That code is APL8B4 and simply hit enter. Now from here, I have a couple of options. I can obviously start casting, or I can disconnect. If I want to create essentially an extended screen, I want to choose that option right here. What that means is the BenQ essentially becomes a second monitor. So if I'm sharing something with students, I can continue doing something on my laptop and share something different on the BenQ. If you want that option, now's the time to select it. Choosing it after you open the InstaShare and get it connected is significantly more challenging. So I'm just going to share my full screen, and I'm going to go ahead and start casting. Once you hit start casting, it should ask the receiver to accept. At the bottom, there will be an allow or deny button. You have 10 seconds to select allow. If you have your remote with you, it's super easy to simply select the select button on the remote and it will hit allow for you. Or you can give that job to a student, whatever makes you happy. And now we are officially connected to our BenQ. From here, we are able to manipulate the board, and we are able to move things around. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up an exit ticket that I created last year. This exit ticket asks students to select how they felt about the lesson in emojis. They have 4 circles at the bottom, and they can drag one or all 4 circles into the emoji squares as long as they explain every single emoji they selected. So if they selected 3 emojis, they're going to have to explain all 3 emojis. So let's say that we're taking a poll and we're trying to figure out how many kids have selected which thing, or even which emoji is the most popular one. And let's say the sunglasses emoji was the most popular. I'm going to simply click the circle that I have, and I'm going to drag it up until it surrounds that sunglasses emoji. But now I want to show my students how to actually type inside of these boxes. Now they're going to be able to click to type. Because we're on the BenQ, we are a little bit more limited. But here's what we are going to do. We're going to give them sentence starters by writing on the board. On either side of the board, there are these little gray triangles. I am not sure if you can see them on the camera, but if you hold them and grab them, you can drag them up, and if that's too high, you can drag them down, and if that's too low, you can put them right in the middle. Well, we're going to go ahead and select that arrow, and we are going to look at all of these options. The option that we're going to go for is the pen option. It looks like a little pencil. Once we click it, an EZ is going to appear on the board. We can click the EZ, hold, and drag it around, and this will allow us to move things around in here. This also will allow us to select our color. So let's say I want to stick with black. I'm going to move this up here so that I can write, and I'm going to go ahead and draw an arrow right here, and then start typing my sentence starter. My goal for today was, and let the students use that as their sentence starter. And there we go. Once you're ready to move on to the next slide, or once you're ready to move on to the next activity, all you need to do on this EZ is click the eraser button, and it will ask if you would like to clear all. Go ahead and click clear, and everything that you've written will disappear, and you are ready for the next page. Now let's say you are working on something like this, and you want to give students the opportunity to continue working on it while you pull something up, but you're sharing your entire screen. You don't want them to see the next thing that you're pulling up, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to click that arrow again, and we are going to select, because BenQ thinks it's cute, the snowflake feature. That snowflake feature is going to freeze the screen. So that way I can come over to my actual computer, and I can start clicking around and find what it is that I wanted to show the students. Once I'm ready with what I wanted to show the students, I simply click the exit freeze button that is at the bottom of the BenQ. And thus my new screen appears. Like I said, BenQ is magic. I am high-key obsessed with it. My advice, honestly, is just to go through and play with all that BenQ has to offer, especially when it comes to screen sharing, because there are so many things that the tech team hasn't even found yet. So if you find something really cool, please share it. But that's not the only cool thing about the BenQ. What we're going to talk about next is how you can use the BenQ when you are not wirelessly connected. So I have 2 options to get back to my home screen. I can either select this gray arrow again and hit the home icon right there, or I can cross the board, and at the bottom there is a home button. I'm going to go ahead and press that. I also want to make note really quickly that this gray arrow is on both sides of the board. I'm using the arrow on this side because this is where I'm standing with my microphone, but I could just as easily select the arrow over on that side. Okay, so from here we have so many cool things that are going on. The whiteboard is one of the most popular things that the BenQ has. Now this is Easy Write 5. We're going to talk about Easy Write 6 in the next video and how magical that is, but we're going to start here. Obviously we have our pen option. You can either write with 1 pen, or you can select up to 2 different colors, which is exciting, especially for students as they are working. And then of course we have the paint option. So many opportunities within this BenQ. In order to erase, just simply click the erase button, and you can either do it piece by piece by circling. You can click all, which will erase everything, or if you lay your hand flat against the board and swipe, that will erase it too. This is my favorite way to erase it because it looks so cool. Okay, so now we have the toolbox. The toolbox is one of the coolest things ever. There are so many possibilities. The first one in the toolbox is going to be a math formula calculator. Now this is really cool because all you need to do is write in an equation. 2 plus 5, and then once you write in that equal sign, it will actually solve it for you. Now here's the thing, I did notice that it is best for simpler calculations, like 2 plus 5, 15 divided by 3, those kinds of things. I tried to do a 2a plus 5 equals ba minus 3, and it didn't go super well. The second option in the toolbox is going to be this nice geometry option. This takes any shape that you create and turns it into something that is just gorgeous. It makes it actually look really good. So you can make a purple circle, a perfect circle, you can create a perfect triangle, you can create the perfect square, you can do anything with that geometry option. Then you have the timer. This stopwatch will allow you to start and stop just like a regular stopwatch would. Then of course you've got your timer. You simply select a time and then it will appear and you can drag it around wherever you want it to go. So if you wanted to write their lesson right here, and then they have the timer. Let's go ahead and clear all of that. Get rid of the timer by clicking the X. And then we have these sticky notes. The sticky notes are really cool. You can select any of these colors for them. And as you are, you can type, select the color, and then select out of it. I'm going to select done and select out. And from there, you can drag it around and do whatever it is that you would like to do. It is really easy to use, very fun, very cool. Students can use it, you can use it to take notes, whatever works for you. Next in the toolbox, we have, this is one of the coolest things, it is a scoreboard. So you select how many teams you have, and then you can keep the score right on your BenQ. And what's really easy is it keeps track of who is winning by the crowns on the top of the winning teams, which is really cool. Next, we have got these name number pickers. So you simply select how many students you have in your class. So let's say I've got 26 students in my class, and I want to select 3 to go to the office or go to the bathroom or hand out supplies. Once you click start, it is going to choose 3 random numbers from this list. And you can announce those numbers to the class. That way it takes the pressure off of you. You're not the one in trouble for choosing the wrong students. The BenQ is the one in trouble for choosing the wrong students. And then finally, we have this cool thing. We already know that we can write on the board, have multiple people writing at one time. What this option does is it makes it so that when one student is writing, they cannot cross into another student's territory. So I can write over here all I want, but I cannot cross over. Same here. I can write here all I want, but I cannot cross over. It makes it a little bit more equal for these guys. So I'm going to go ahead and click the X button down here. I do not want to save. And then the last thing we're going to talk about over here is real cool. These are the templates that are inside of the Easy Write 5 software. In order to get to them, we are going to click this button down here. It looks like a roll of paper. We can change the color of our screen if we would like to. If we're going for something a little darker, I'm going to go with this nice like tan color. And then we have all of these options as for how to add templates into our screen. So let's say I want to talk about a triangle, right? So I've got this, and I'm just going to go ahead and make some lines across it. So that way, if we wanted to, we can talk about, oh, I don't know, food groups or important things inside of our classroom. In order to add a new page, I am simply going to click the plus button down here. Now this will give me the option again to select a new template or to simply move on to a completely blank screen. So I'm going to go ahead and select the to-do list. This is super cool. This is one of my favorites because it will allow you to write your to-do list for your students and then check it off as you go on the check boxes. It's really exciting. So I'm going to go ahead and add a new page, and this time I'm going to add in this guy. So you can use it for games, obviously planning for games, or you can even use it to play a lesson game with your students, to play a content level game with your students, which is very exciting. But yeah, generally, Easy Write is really fun to play with. I honestly highly recommend going into the Easy Write on your BenQ and just pressing buttons. That's how we found a lot of the things. Really just click around, see what you find. And if you find anything cool that we didn't talk about or that I didn't talk about, please feel free to message us or email us and say, hey, I found this really cool thing. Can we meet up? Can I show you? And honestly, that would make me so happy. So please play with it and share what you learn. The last thing that I want to talk about, I'm going to go ahead and click this arrow on the side, and I'm going to click Home. The last thing I really want to talk about are the apps on the BenQ. Now, because BenQ is awesome, there are so many opportunities. Knee slapper. Okay, so in order to get to the apps, I'm going to click the 4 squares right here. And this is going to take me to all of the apps that I have. You'll notice I've got Firefox, InstaShare, Meeting, all of those things. I'm going to go ahead and click on Firefox. Now here's the coolest thing about the BenQ. You can connect your computer to the BenQ, or you can use your BenQ as your computer. So if you wanted to sign into Google and have all of your documents here, you definitely could. If you wanted to sign into YouTube and have all your videos lined up, you totally could. One of the things that we've been talking about at Old North is creating a Jamboard or a Wakelet or even an Easy Write 6, which we'll talk about, and putting all of your links for your lesson plan there and then just pulling it up on your BenQ. So that way you don't even have to connect if you don't want to, or you don't have to connect if you think that's going to take too much time. There are so many possibilities. But back to the magical thing that I was going to tell you about before. So you have your apps, which are right here. I'm going to select the BenQ App Store, and this is going to take me to all the possible apps that we could have. So I'm going to go ahead and download a few things. I'm going to download Bouncy Balls, because this is so cool. And then because we are in a preschool classroom, I'm going to go ahead and download the preschool games. I'll stick with that one. And I want to show off, let's do 4th grade learning. So BenQ has created learning games for students that you can pull up directly on the BenQ and play with them. As you can see, it also has Bingo for Kids. It has Kahoot. If you wanted to log into your Kahoot account and have this on here permanently, you could also do that. So let's go ahead and open up Bouncy Balls. You can open it either here after you download it, or I'm going to go ahead and go home, click my apps option again, and then just select Bouncy Balls from the apps option. Now this is a website and an app. So if you would rather have this on your computer and then just throw it up on the BenQ, that is definitely allowed. So Bouncy Balls is super cool. If you have not heard of it before, this is amazing. I love Bouncy Balls. The tech team was just amazed by it. It's so cool. So what happens is the Bouncy Balls app or website uses the microphone on your device to measure the loudness inside of the room. It will respond to that loudness with whatever shape you decide and will sometimes make noise depending on the loudness. So I've selected Begin Bouncing, and our theme right now is plastic. And as you look up at the top, you'll see that my microphone is off, but once I turn my microphone on, it is going to start paying attention to my voice. So if I'm talking normally, and if it's just me, this is kind of what it looks like. But if I get louder and closer, it's going to say that I'm too noisy. Now you have options at the bottom. You can have it shh, which is actually quite cool. It goes shh, and it's really cute. You can also change the theme if you would like to. So eyeballs is really a great one for Halloween. You can also add the total number of eyeballs, or you can decrease the total number of eyeballs, and you can increase or decrease the sensitivity. So right now the sensitivity is all the way up, but I can also turn the sensitivity much further down, and then it becomes very calm. Okay, so that is Bouncy Balls. It is a favorite of mine. So let's go ahead and go back and let us look at, let's just do the 4th grade one. this is going to open up some games for that specific grade level that BenQ has put together. So for example, hold on, let me turn it down. So for example, let's say you guys are working on spelling. I'm going to go ahead and click spelling. And BenQ is going to give the students a challenge. And the students can either work in teams at their tables and then send one person up to do this, and you can go by teams and play a game, or you could even have one student just working on it. So this asks for Jolly, Jolly. And all of the games are like this, where it allows for this already really cool, innovative touch software. It just creates these games that are fun for the students. They are fun. Honestly, I'm having a ton of fun. The last thing I want to talk about, and then I promise I will end the video, is the widgets. So in order to get to the widgets, we are again going to select those 4 squares at the bottom. And there's apps. We're going to click the widgets next to it. We can customize our home screen if we would like to. So if we wanted to add a note, we simply click and hold and move it where we would like to go. We do the same for the rest of these. So let's say I want to have the weather up there as well, just because, and then maybe clocks, because I want my kids to see the times in all of these different places. Cool beans. Okay, so I'm done with that, and I'm going to go ahead and type a message up here. Welcome in class, and click out, and then my message is always up there. So that's a really great way to send a message to students coming into your class, to adults who are coming into your class. It's a really great way to say, hey, here's what you need to be working on. It's just, you know, nice and easy and allows for a little bit of personalization inside of your BenQ. Again, my recommendation is to get on here and just play. The BenQ is a fantastic tool. It is very, very fun, and as you continue working with it, you're going to find more and more things that you hadn't found before. So really, just get on here, don't be afraid to mess around. As long as you're not hitting it or physically trying to move it, you're not going to break it, I promise. Just mess with it, see what you can find, and again, if you find things that I didn't tell you about, let us know. Share that with us, because we are always excited to learn more, and also we get really excited when you share things. So thank you so much. I hope that this was helpful and not too much. Please feel free to leave feedback in the forum below. I appreciate you. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you next time.